Good evening, Purple family. Welcome to Shades of Purple, a Prince podcast. On tonight's episode, I have a special guest with me. Her name is Stephanie Mills, and she is from Indianapolis. So before we get into it, Purple family, so now I'm doing a new series. You know how I am with my series. Everything is a series, right? Well, this new series, I'm interviewing or really just having casual conversations with other Prince fans around the world and around the country. So Stephanie Mills is from Indianapolis, and we're just going to sit here and talk about our love of Prince. So Stephanie, welcome to Shades of Purple.
Thank you so much, Rhonda. I appreciate the invite. Like I told you before, and I'm always having in the chat. So I'm just so proud of you. You've come a long way with the podcast. We're all proud of.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. So just to start off, how and when did you become a Prince fan?
Well, I got to know Prince with "I Want to Be Your Lover" because I don't remember "Soft and Wet." When I got "Soft and Wet" later and I played it, I thought it might be familiar, but once I remember getting the 45. And when I played it, I didn't remember it. I really got introduced to him with "I Want to Be Your Lover," but not yet a fan. I became a fan, to be honest. I jumped on the Purple Rain bandwagon 80, 83, and half of 84 was all about Michael Jackson. I
Uh-huh.
was a Michael Jackson fan. Everything was Michael Jackson-ness and Thriller. I was all Michael Jackson, half of fifth and all of sixth grade. Then come the summer of 84, and here's Purple Rain, the movie. Prince is becoming more visible. He's all over the place, more talked about than he was the previous year with 1999. And then I just fell in love with him and been a fan ever since.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah. 84 was that year for a lot of people. Now, for me, I'm just a little bit younger than you. So I was only about, I wasn't even a year old when Purple Rain came out. But I was able to go back, of course, and later and just fell in love with the movie, fell in love with the soundtrack. But for me, it was all about the Batman soundtrack. I was in kindergarten, and I've told this story many times, but I'll tell it again just for the new people that are listening. But one day, I'm in kindergarten, we're out on the playground, and people are just, not people, but the kids are out there singing this song, ooh yeah, I want to bust that body. And I'm like, okay, I had no idea what the song was. But everybody else, all the other kids were singing it, so I'm like, okay, ooh yeah, I want to bust that body. And so, I didn't think nothing of it. I was just like, okay, it's a part of this song. And I'm pretty sure I probably heard Bad Dance on the radio because it did become one of Prince's 5 number 1 hits that he had. But I also so sometime later, I want to say I was in a play at the same school, and they played Diamonds and Pearls at the end of the play. And I want to say that it was like a Black History thing, like a show, and I can't remember who I played, but it was a Black History play, and they played Diamond. I was like, oh my God, this is such a wonderful song. And so when I got in the car that day, I asked my dad, I was like, who sings that song? I'm singing. I was like, Diamonds and Pearls. He was like, oh, that's Prince. And so ever since I heard Diamonds and Pearls and Bad Dance, I became a big, big fan. So my next question to you, Stephanie, is after, you said you heard Purple Rain and you became a fan after Purple Rain and the movie and all that. So what made you continue to become a fan after that? Because I know that's the introduction to a lot of fans was Purple Rain. Well, what made you decide to continue to listen to his music after that?
Well, I liked his sound, the Minneapolis sound. I liked just the sound of a lot of. He just had a sound that was just distinct, a distinct sound that was different from anybody else's. And I just started. Once I became a fan, I started going back to buying the previous albums, and I just liked the music. And then I just started digging for more stuff, even be honest, some more unofficial stuff later on. I just liked, what he put out. I even bought some of the associated artist albums too, like Vanity 6, Apollonia 6, The Time. I didn't get What Time Is It or the first album, but I did get Ice Cream Castles. I like I said, I just became a fan. I got Jill's album. Didn't never got a chance to get Tasha Sabille's album, but I just uh everybody associated with him, but especially him. I just like I said, I just liked his music. I just liked the sound. Yeah, he was just he's just to me he was just, an amazing musician. That's all, and I just loved what he did. So that's how I stayed a fan. And to be honest, I didn't even know if I would even continue being a fan, but I just continued, like I said, throughout the years, and still am.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I thought he was unique, and also I loved his musicianship, but I also loved how he looked. Like he was so unique to me in that way too, because he was a small guy, light skinned
Mhm.
guy. But to me, I really thought he was sexy. And I'm not the type to really go for like guys that are like that short. Like
Right.
I'm 5'2" myself,
Yeah.
so I definitely. But to me, it was just like he was feminine, but he was also very masculine at the same time.
Okay.
He's the only guy that I, not say that I know him, of course, but the only guy that I know of that could match the two so well, that he could be so masculine but yet so feminine at the same time. What do you think about how he was able to play off of that with his personality and his look and all that?
I agree with you. That's a lot of stuff that he could pull off that nobody else can. And you're not the only one that said that, Ronica. Just about most women that love him, or were drawn to him, they wouldn't have been going with that with anybody else. But with him, he was able to pull it off, and a lot of it just had to do with his confidence, his swagger. He just, that's one thing that made you fall for him. That confidence and that swagger. He could the
Absolutely.
high heels and all that stuff, and the eyeshadow and all that stuff. You ain't gonna probably want to accept that. It probably ain't gonna be going for that with anybody else, any other regular Joe. But with him, he was Prince. He could do that.
Right. Like he was able to skip past those, those social norms. Like those just didn't apply to him because people would be like, well, that's just Prince, like, yeah, he likes to, wear, his ass out, even though we now know it wasn't his ass, but he can do that and it's cool. And nobody, well, I can't say nobody. There were people always questioning his sexuality, but he didn't care about that either, because I feel like if Prince really was gay or bisexual, he would have had no problem saying that. What do you think? Do you think that he would be okay with saying that had he been that way? Or would have preferred to keep it a secret? What do you think? You sound like you're far away again, Stephanie. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
A little bit, but I was hearing you a little bit better earlier.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but you still sound kind of far away.
All right, hold on. Let me
Oh, you sound good now. You
okay,
good right now.
all right. So I was saying that back then, you remember, if people wasn't coming out back then like they are
Yeah,
right now. It just
yeah,
wasn't open. It wasn't as acceptable.
that's true.
Um, I don't know if he would have kept it a secret or if he would have come out with it, would have been dependent on him. But I disagree with you. I just believe that he was straight, and not too many people that didn't really stick very out. Didn't stick too much. You had one or two people trying to say he was gay, but majority of everybody said believes and either knows or either believes that he was straight. That he definitely loved women. I mean, he showed that he loved women, and that whole gay thing, that just for some reason that just didn't stick. It didn't go anywhere.
It
So
didn't.
yeah, yeah.
It
So
did.
like I said, he's a rarity. He is.
Yes, he was, and I don't believe that he was bisexual or gay either. I do believe that he was 100% straight, but I
Mm,
just know that a lot of people, out there, even in the Prince community and the Purple community, they still want to have that narrative. Oh, what if he was? I've even heard people say, "Oh, I think nowadays he would be considered non-binary or and all that mess." And I'm just like, nah, I don't think Prince would be
mm,
okay with somebody saying that he was non-binary because
mm,
even though the symbol was a mixture of the two sexes, I still
Mm.
think that he was just representative of both sexes, but I don't think that would necessarily mean that he would be okay with being called non-binary and all that mess. He was
Right.
a man. He loved women, and that's just what it was, you know. People wanted to make it more than what it was, but being on that same track now we know that Prince was a player, okay? Like he had them all, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you think, or do you have any thoughts about how his personal life and how it had anything to do, like how did it influence his music at all, do you think?
Mm, um, well, some of his songs, whatever, some of the real emotional ones might have played a part in his personal life, some of his relationships. He didn't remember we all know, he only let you know what he wanted you to know. He
Right.
didn't, yeah, he only just let you know to an extent. There's a couple of them that are a little bit more revealing, like something in the water. Um, that maybe the love we make, maybe that song. There's a couple of songs that he kind of opens up a little more and kind of lets you in a little bit. But uh, yeah, I think that his relationships are kind of a key in some of his songs.
Okay, yeah, because now who do you think was his number one girl? Like everybody always speculates, was it Maite? Was it Vanity? Was it Jill? Was it Susanna?
Mm,
But who do you think was, the woman that he was most in love with?
I think I've heard you say this, and I've already thought it, but I believe you said it too, and mostly everybody else is saying it. I always believe Vanity was his main person. I just think that he never got over her because she was the one that left. I mean, what like he left her. She's the one that quit Purple Rain and just said, just walked out and stuff. She was just the one that got away. I
Right.
think she was also the one that kind of stood up to him a little more, was less controlling, whatever. There was just something about her, and I know that it had to really really hurt him that she passed the same day that on his mother's 14th anniversary. That had to really be, yeah, that's something. So yeah, because I remember when that she passed, I didn't realize it was the same day as his mother. So, but I always believed that Vanity was his main person because I said this before. I done said it on your either put it in the chat that Manuela. I believe he loved her, but I just believe that was his way of marrying. Manuela was marrying Vanity. I think he always wanted to marry Vanity, and Manuela and Vanity favor.
Yes,
Now,
they do.
yeah, now Vanity is got a rare beauty. Yeah, but they both of them are from Canada, and it's just too close. Yeah, so I just to me, Vanity maybe might take maybe next in line, maybe the next person, number two, but number one is Vanity.
Yeah, and you know what? And I didn't even realize that. Yeah, they both are from Canada, and
Yeah,
Manuela is a Vanity clone for sure, for
yeah,
sure.
yeah,
When
yeah.
I first saw her pictures of her, I was like, "Dang, she looks just like Vanity." And I'm
Mm,
pretty sure that Vanity probably thought that too because I don't know if you know, but this guy. He's been on the All Things Prince Collective page. He claims
mm,
that he was a friend of Vanity during the
mm,
early 2000s,
mm,
and he said that they would talk all the time. And she even said, according to him, that she thought that his wife looked like her, and she
yeah,
said that also, she was kind of braggadocious, according to this guy, that that Prince had never got over her and that they still kind of communicate here and there. Like around the time that he did
mm,
the Super Bowl in 2007, supposedly, she called him up and they prayed over the phone together, so they still had, a little sporadic communication here and there.
mm,
But she said that, like in her book, she said that, she always would love Prince. Prince was the love of her life. And I think that for Prince, he was also, he felt the same way about her. And after she died, he spoke very, very highly of her and very reminiscent of their relationship, revealing some things, at his piano microphone concert about their relationship and how he admitted that it was very volatile at the time, but that that they loved each other very much. And
Mm,
he just seems to be, very, like I said, very reminiscent, very thoughtful of their relationship. And I really wish that he was still around to talk more about that. And I really wish that he would have been able to finish his book. Speaking of which, his book, The Beautiful Ones. And it made
mm,
me wonder why he chose that title, because, a lot of people think that that particular song is about vanity. Some people say it's about Susanna. I'm of the opinion that it is about vanity, because
I
he
believe it.
revealed in a Ebony article that he did back in 2015 that he told the interviewer, because the interviewer point blank said, well, people say that that song is about Susanna Melvoin. And so he said, uh, well, think about what was going on at the time. Now, of course, he said that, he
Mm,
wrote it for the movie with the going back and forth between him and
mm,
Apollonia. But
mm,
he did say that. But he also said at the time, Vanity just left. That
mm,
is a direct quote. And so when he said that, that made me think, okay, yeah, that song was not about no damn Susanna. And no offense to
mm,
Susanna,
mm.
but I think that was definitely about vanity, and he was hurt. And being that, he was so young at the time, both him and Ben, I mean, they were in their 20s, and you know
Right.
how you are when you in your 20s. You don't know nothing. You don't know. You just doing, doing
Yeah.
what you want to do. And I
Right.
kind of feel like they were in love and didn't realize that they were in love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, like I said, I just think she was the number one. Another person that looked favored her back then in the '80s was Devin Vasquez. She used to be on Star Search in the spokesmodel category around the same time that Cat was with Cat and Pat. She favored Vanity a lot, and then he had her used her voice or her moaning and all that on that on Orgasm on the Come album. This dude, he just never got over her. She was always, even if he didn't talk about it, she was always somewhere. There was always a place in his heart for her. So
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely, absolutely.
Mhm.
But so moving on, so like, what is your favorite? I guess of course, everybody loves Purple Rain, but what is your favorite album of Prince's out of his 39 albums that he made during his lifetime? What is your absolute favorite, if you have one? Because I know a lot of people have more than one.
Yeah. Well, I like to say 40 plus because I like to throw in I like to count what do you call it Welcome to America,
Yeah, yeah.
whatever
Welcome
other
to
albums
America.
that you may
Hmm.
have. I always said it's not a fair question. I don't have this one, but oh man. Right now, I'm just gonna go with. I'm just saying. I'm just gonna go with 1999.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Mm,
I'll tell you what my top three are. My top three are, my favorite one is Sign of the Times, then
mm,
Purple Rain, then 1999. Those are my three top favorite albums. And of course, I've done a top 10 of my favorite albums on the podcast, but I always go back to those three. But I
mm.
also like a lot of his albums that he did in the 90s. I like Diamonds and Pearls. I like the Love Symbol album. I
Me
like the
too.
Come album. I think the Come album is probably one of his most underrated albums that he did, because of all that stuff that he had going on with Warner Brothers, his dispute with Warner Brothers at the time. I think it
Mm.
gets looked over, but it's really a lot of good songs on the Come album. I go
Now
back and listen to Dark all the time because it's it's a really jazzy, bluesy type of a song, and I just absolutely love it. It puts me in a good mellow mood listening to it. So, do you
mm.
just have a go-to song? Like, if you're in a particular mood, what is your like go-to Prince song? If you feeling like, you know what, I just want to vibe out, I want to chill.
Once again, it's a lot, but it's a bunch of them. Right now, I'm just gonna say the Ballad of Dorothy Parker.
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a good one. That's a good one. That's the one to really vibe out to. Another one that I like, Stephanie, like at night when I maybe want to try to relax and sleep, I listen to Power Fantastic. I absolutely
Oh
love to listen to that at night, because it's a very jazzy song. It's very reminiscent of that other song that that's kind of the same vibe to it. Um, Somewhere Here on Earth, which
yeah.
came much later than Power Fantastic. But
Right.
Power Fantastic was actually composed by Wendy and Lisa. Prince did the lyrics, but the music was more so them. And,
Mm,
unfortunately, Prince being how he was sometimes, he didn't always give people, the proper credit.
right.
But it's still a vibe. And I absolutely love the song. I play it all the time at night. But that's just my go-to if I just kind of want to relax is Power Fantastic. I think it's just another um unsung, unspoken record of his. Um,
Mm.
but let's see, what else? Um, so you said you like 1999. So what's your favorite? Do you have a favorite song on 1999?
Um, I'm just gonna go with something in the water.
Yes, and you know what that is? I need to put together another top 10 that I haven't done of his screams. You
Mm.
just gave
Oh
me an
yeah.
idea when I thought about something in the water because he has a fantastical scream on
Mm.
something in the water does not compute.
Mm.
And yeah, and that's probably the number one thing that stands out to me about that song. But I also like the Liam drum beat on it that he
Right.
programmed on that song.
Yes.
Um, it's, I mean, genius. I just absolutely love it. I would say that Little Red Corvette is probably my favorite because but I mean, which it is, but I also like, what else is, I like Little Red Corvette. I do like Something in the Water. I'm trying to think of what else. Oh, Let's Pretend We're Married.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's my other favorite, my other go-to because he's so nasty at the end of the song. And a lot of people don't, have never heard the full version. And I remember
Mm.
I was in the car in my friend, um, in the car with one of my friends, and I was telling her about this nasty song that Prince. She's not a biggest Prince fan as I am,
Mm.
but she was like, oh, every time we get in the car, we gotta listen to Prince. You probably got friends like that, right?
Mm. Oh yeah.
So I put on Let's Pretend We're Married. I was like, I want you to hear all his song. And so when he got to the part where he was like, saying what he said, she was like, oh my God, I didn't know Prince was this nasty.
Yeah. Yeah. He
I was
pretty
like,
much.
yeah. Prince said he want to F the taste out of your mouth. I'm
Yeah.
like, ooh.
I was glad to finally that by the time I got the video was I had a crappy quality to when I finally saw the video. I was just glad to see it at all, and then I was glad that they finally put it on you on this official page all clear because back then when they had video vibrations and video soul, they
Uh-huh.
didn't play the video. They played the automatic video except for that part. They always cut out. They didn't play the part with Jill and Lisa and him on the brass bed. They didn't play that part. But for
Oh,
some reason they never played Let's Pretend We're Married. They didn't play that back then.
they didn't play the song at all?
I don't remember hearing the song on the radio. I remember reading the lyrics to the song. There used to be this magazine in the 80s called Rock and Soul magazine. And in the back they used to have a songs with lyrics to it. And I remember seeing the title with lyrics, but I never remember hearing the song getting radio play. At least not here, not in indie.
Okay.
And yeah, I just but like I said, the video they didn't play the video. Like I said on Video Vibrations and Video Soul back then. And I think I didn't hear it until I finally bought the 1999 album 3 years after it was released in '87. That's
Hmm.
when I heard it for the first time. But yeah, I was just glad that the whole time there was a video to it, and I was glad that I didn't see it 2 years later. But I'm just glad that that's available for you to see on the official YouTube page anytime you want.
Yeah, yeah, because back then, yeah, he did a lot of his music didn't get a lot of exposure because it was so adult theme oriented.
Yeah.
Unlike our friend MJ, which being from Indianapolis and from being Indiana, which of course is I'm sure Michael Jackson country out there because the Jacksons were from Gary. How far are you from Gary out there, if you don't mind me asking?
Uh, uh, um, I forget how far. I know we're about 2.5 hours away. Yeah,
Okay,
because
okay.
Gary is close to Chicago.
Oh,
So
yeah, yeah.
really,
Okay.
it ain't really nobody's really making doesn't really make a big holler about the Jacksons in Indianapolis or Michael Jackson like they do probably over in Gary. Now, when we went to the I think I posted those pictures, a couple of those pictures when we went to the immersive experience in Chicago 2 years ago. we did stop by the Jackson Home. The Jackson Home, that's always a tourist site. So they had uh a lot of their pictures or whatever, murals and all that. There's always somebody probably there every day taking pictures. I know they were there that day, that Saturday. So I think that Gary is probably where they're probably more celebrated anywhere else than any place else in Indiana.
Okay, yeah, and I mean that makes sense. I mean they were from
Mhm.
there, and they
Right,
do have like you said like the little museum of the old house on Jackson Street over there.
right,
And the one thing that we can both say about being Prince fans is, unlike Michael Jackson, this is not a shot on Michael by any means.
right.
But at least we have somewhere to go. We can go to Paisley Park, which I was able to do this year, and see like his guitars and
Mm-hmm.
a lot of his music, how he recorded. Like, we are blessed to have that, and as long as
Yeah.
we continue to support the estate and they can keep the lights on at Paisley, we're going to be able to have that. But Michael Jackson fans, like, they don't have finding, Neverland and all that because, after it got raided, Michael didn't want to go back there anymore. And that's completely understandable given, the circumstances and everything. But as
Mhm.
Prince fans, we really are blessed. Like, even though, people feel how they feel about the estate, was consistently putting out music for almost,
Mhm.
from 2016 onward. Now, because of this whole thing with Netflix, and I want to get your opinion on that,
Mhm.
that's kind of slowing down some stuff now, unfortunately. But before, up until, and that was just what, this year?
Mhm.
Uh, but before that, we were getting like, some, box sets. We got the Diamonds and Pearls box set last year. In
Right.
2020, we got the Sign of the Times box set. So I'm still hoping for 25 that we'll get something. If they'll, come, either they're going to completely try to renegotiate the contract with Netflix, because
Mhm.
apparently Netflix has got the rights to a lot of this music that was in this documentary. And so
Mhm.
because of that, until it can be released or whatever, it's going to kind of, not, the estate won't be able to put out as much music as they were before all this. And that's really unfortunate. And that this deal was made before, as I like to call him, LL, before he came in, and Charles Spicer. It was with the previous administration of if I'm understanding that correctly, the
Right.
previous administration of the estate, before the people that are there now that came in. And so, what do you think? Do you want to see the Netflix documentary? Because I do. But what do you think about it?
I want to see it. I talked about that. I would like to see it. Now I understand the fans that don't want they don't want his legacy tarnished. I don't either.
Right.
But I want the documentary. I want the documentary to be about the music. That's what I really would like it to be. But
Hmm.
like you said, and I've always believed that too, that he wasn't perfect. He had flaws like everybody else. And another thing I wanted to say that it really went right through me when you first did that live video on the New York Times article. That part about Jill, some just went right through me because the first thing that's playing through my mind is I don't want to go through all the stuff that Diddy's going through right now, and now was it hasn't gotten deep. I don't think it will. I don't think it'll go far, but like what Jay Z's even going through recently, I don't want his legacy tarnished. I don't want the stuff that he's achieved so far. Like he just recently got the Writers Songwriters Hall of Fame. Um
Long
the
overdue.
right, that's right. And then the highway sign, the name, the street name named after him, the mural that they put over there. I don't want none of that taken away because he earned it. So
Right.
I would like to see one. I've been waiting on a documentary, this Netflix documentary. I really wanted Ava to do it. That meant a lot because he kind of met her and kind of got to know her a little bit. And it was a woman. It would have been a woman and a black woman on top of it. I would have liked her to direct it, but that didn't work out. I was kind of wondering about this Ezra guy because I'm not really crazy about OJ and Prince being in the same. I know it's two different things, but still in the same sentence. So I didn't know about that, but since they talked about it, since he put 9 hours, I would like to see it. but at the
Yeah,
same time, I wanted to be seen. I always try to believe that his legacy wouldn't be tarnished. Just that thing about Jill, she ain't said nothing all that time, and then she never said anything on these other platforms. And all of a sudden, out of the blue, at this Netflix documentary, you talking about he punched you in the face, and I'm not saying it didn't happen. I just I would have been said something. I would have said something in some other platforms, not just I'm gonna wait to
right.
this platform to say it. It was just when I first heard about it, just it was just something. But I get the ones that I get everybody. I want a documentary, but at the same time, I don't want his legacy to be tarnished either. I want it at the end of the day to be about the music.
Absolutely. And I agree with you. And I wish that they would do a full-fledged documentary on just the music. But, people are nosy. People want to know who he
Yeah,
was because he was so private and secretive when he was alive. And the
right.
whole Jill Jones thing, as I said in my live, and maybe people that missed it or didn't catch it, I said that I wasn't even really surprised by the Jill Jones accusation because, and I'm going to, at some point, I'm going to reread it and do a episode on it. But there's a book called White Slave that you remember a Big Chick Huntsberry, which was Prince's bodyguard back in the 80s. So
Yeah,
his
I've seen the book.
yeah, his daughters
Mm,
put out a book. And I
mm,
don't know like if where they got this information from, if this is like something their dad told them and they just wrote it down, or if he kept a journal or diary or whatever.
mm,
But at one point, supposedly Prince jumped on Lisa when
mm,
they were on tour, and I think this was in 1981 or 82, so it had to be either Dirty Mind or Controversy, one of those
mm,
tours.
mm,
And so he jumped on her because once again she hit him first. So
mm,
I can say that with at least both, if the Lisa incident is true, and then if Jill Jones incident, he didn't outright hit them first. Like he was
mm.
provoked. You don't put your hands on people, regardless
Right.
if they male or female. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
So so supposedly, like I said, he supposedly beat up Lisa, and and then Chick supposedly, found out about it or whatever, and they eventually made up. And I'm just like, okay, so if that happened, and I also said this in my life, if it happened, then that gives a little bit of credits to what Crazy Lady said, Sinead O'Connor. Now, I don't
Right.
think she did that Prince did all the stuff that she claimed. But if you sitting here, spitting on him and telling him to fuck off and all this mess, like she
Mm,
supposedly said, I wouldn't be
mm,
surprised if that pissed, Prince off because,
right.
even back then, he wasn't really big on people cussing around him, even when he was cussing himself. And
Right.
of course, later he stopped cussing completely when he became a Jehovah's Witness. But if she
Mm.
using all this foul language and supposedly spitting on him, oh yeah, it's time to fight.
That's right.
Spitting is disrespect. Spitting on somebody is the most disrespectful thing you could do to somebody.
It
So,
is.
hey, so I don't blame him if that's what happened. I'm on Prince side. I'm not against. I'm totally against people. Men putting their hands on women and all that. I don't condone that. I also don't condone women putting their hands on men either. It should go both ways to me.
That's
So,
right.
but I hope that they figure something out because he needs a documentary. I mean, everybody else has their biopics and documentaries. Like right now on Netflix, Whitney Houston has a documentary. Elvis Presley has a documentary. I think those are the two that I know of. And I recently watched the documentary that they did on, what's his name? Little Richard. It was really good. That one
The,
just
the,
came out last year. Have you seen any of
the,
those?
no, Little Richard I haven't seen, but Whitney Houston's I've seen. I flashed by that because I watched Jamie Foxx special yesterday.
Oh
I
yeah,
think that's a movie that documentary that she had out. It was in theaters. That was back in 2018. It was just it's like it was in theaters, and
yeah,
they just
yeah.
they just have it on Netflix, so it's not new. But the only thing about that one like wants to showcase her dark side, like her demons and stuff. It's not that concentrating just on the music. It's still she's had two documentaries that done that. The one on Showtime and that, and then the one that you're talking about, like I said, it was in theaters first. So yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I don't want that for him. I want you
Yeah.
to talk
And
mainly about the
unfortunately,
music. Yeah.
yeah, and I wish more people would focus on the music, but unfortunately, it's that sensationalized stuff that's gonna
Mm,
get people to watch it. I mean,
right.
it is what it is on that. Just like sex sales, just the really sensationalized stuff is what's gonna
Mm,
get people. Oh, like, oh, so he did this to this, to who, and it should be about the music. And
mm,
so, but unfortunately, that's just not the way our society is. How our society is set up. They want to see the flaws. They want to see what's, behind the curtain. They want to see how the sauce is made. They want to know all the ingredients. Like they feel
mm,
like, I guess it makes people feel like they know you more if they know your secrets or. I mean, but he put everything, Prince put his whole personality into his music. Anything that you really want to know about Prince, you will find in his music. And I think we as real Prince fans, we realize that. Whereas other people are just like, nah, I want to know who he was, who he was cheating on with when he was married to Maite and da da da. Don't nobody really care about that. I don't even think Maite cares about that anymore. It's
right.
about, like when he did that song, I love you, but I don't trust you anymore. I think
Right.
he was talking about Maite in that song and the fact that they had reached a point in their marriage where, there was no trust there anymore. So he was letting you know then, like, because he referred to her as his protege. And so it was obvious who he was talking about. So it wasn't that, he didn't share, those aspects of his life with us because he did. But
Mm,
it's just people weren't, necessarily paying attention. What do you think
right.
about that?
I agree with everything that you said. Yeah, that that a lot of people, except for the nosy ones, just the ones that just want to be on the negative. I don't think that nobody cares about that. I think that they just want to. They're just here for the music. I
Hmm.
agree.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Stephanie, what else you want to talk about before we call it a day? We at 37 minutes here. And so I don't know if we want to necessarily go the whole hour, but what else would you like to talk about? We can talk about whatever.
I just, well, for instance, well, I like to talk about, you said you went to Paisley Park, and I've been saying, I've been hoping that I was hoping that I could have got there this year, but that didn't happen. So I'm really hoping and praying that next year is going to be the year that I get to go. Whether it be, if it's not celebration, at least a tour. I'm kind of interested in that Revolution cruise with Norwegian Aqua that they've been talking about. I don't know if you know anything about that or seen that, but no, the estate is trying to put together a Revolution. What is it? It's really supposed to be like a Purple Rain number, like maybe like some performers like will be to be on these cruises, and they're supposed to be
Oh,
trying to do that next year, starting in the spring, and then I think again maybe like in August, like late summer or fall. So I was
oh, and
kind
it's
of
through
interested in it.
Norwegian Cruise Lines, you said?
Yeah, the Region Aqua. Just look it up. It was or put Revolution Cruise or something like that. It's called Revolution. It's got the same font like what you see like Purple Rain font, but it's showing like I guess everybody that goes on a cruise or whatever. That's supposed to be like the entertainment, like one of the entertainments that they're gonna have for next year. So I
Oh,
would like to
okay.
see that. And I was looking, and I'm hoping that this stage play, Purple Rain stage play, is going to happen in the fall because I kind of I don't know if you caught that, but well, first they announced that I already passed the thing over, that letting y'all know that they were postponing it from um this
Yeah, until
did
October,
you
right?
remember that,
Next
to
year.
spring. Yeah, and then it's mighty funny that at the same time that Michael Jackson biopic is doing the same thing, it too was supposed to be coming out in the
Coming out in
spring and
April.
April, but it's
Hmm.
not going to be coming out till next October. So it's not coming out till the fall. So yeah,
Yeah.
but both of it, that gives the performer, whoever is part of the stage play, that gives them more time to maybe even find out who's going to be playing Prince. That just gives them all more time
Mhm.
to do what it is that they're trying to do. So yeah, I'm hoping that next year I'm going to be able to do some things that I wasn't able to do this year.
Yes, me too. Like I'm hoping that I'll be able to really get my YouTube page off the ground with these
Yeah.
reactions and whatnot. I'm because I've been saying that for the longest and I still ain't bought this laptop that will help me to do that. So I hope to do that next year. I'm trying to get myself into some like digital media editing classes at the
Mm.
because I work at a 2 year university and they offer classes like that. But girl, how about I need to find my shot record so I can finish my application.
Right.
So that's what's holding me up. But I hope to start those classes and that way I can, because I want to. I can always hire an editor, obviously, but
Mm.
I want to know how to do it myself. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. But I'm still able to put like this up on the YouTube channel. So I'm still doing all audio right now for the YouTube channel, and I think last I checked, I've got 68 subscribers. So my goal was to have 100 by the end of the year. So we're gonna fall a little short of that, but that's okay because 2025 is gonna be bigger and better. And it's just gonna. I mean, I started my YouTube channel this year, so that was a big thing for me
Yeah.
this year. So it's just looking more and more up. But going back to what you were saying about Paisley Park, yes, Stephanie, I highly recommend you go to Paisley Park. Me and Gabe had such a great time there. Now, like I said in my review, like now you're gonna be surprised at how small some of those rooms are, even the recording rooms. I was
Mhm.
really surprised. Now, of course, the big sound stage is huge, but everything else, like the some of the exhibit areas, like they were like smaller than a closet, And I was just like, wow. And even that big space where the symbol is on the tile floor, like
Mhm.
looking at the pictures, you think that space is really big. It's actually not that big. And I was
Mhm.
just like, so just to prepare you for that. So it's not as big as you think it is. Like the pictures make it look huge. It's not huge at all. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it was just something that kind of surprised me a little bit about it. But the
Yeah.
actual place itself is wonderful. And we had such a great tour guide. Tommy was great. He answered all of our questions. The cheesecake that we ate was really good. Yeah, like I would have stayed longer, but we had other things also that because we ended up going after we left Paisley Park, we went down to Riley Creek, and I
Mhm.
did a video of all of the memorial memorabilia down there, and then we ended up going to Electric Fetus right after we left Paisley. So I definitely want to go again in the
Mhm.
future, and I would recommend doing the ultimate experience, even though it is a little pricey. It's worth it because you're able to like we were able to hold the yellow guitar, take pictures with that. We were able to play ping pong on Prince's actual ping pong table in
Mhm.
Studio B. So you want to have that, as a real Prince fan, and I say real as in,
Right.
you want to have all of that. So I would
Right.
recommend doing the ultimate experience.
How did you like the Mall of America? Was that pretty good?
Yes, I like the Mall of
Mhm.
America, even though we got lost as heck in there.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean it was fantastic. Like
Yeah.
we really didn't do a lot of shopping because we were so busy looking around at everything. But yeah,
Mhm.
everything they say about it is true. They got the roller coasters, they got like this little section of like little carnival rides for the kids, and they got like 1,000 places to eat. I mean it's just so much. It's got 3 levels of just different things.
Mhm.
And another thing I like, the airport, the Minneapolis airport has a Prince store. And girl, I'll tell you this, they got some stuff in that airport store that they don't even have at Paisley.
I believe it.
So,
I believe it. Yeah, I was glad. Yeah, I wanted to go there too. It looks like it. Yeah, I didn't know they had some of the same thing. The same things are different, but you're telling me that they got some things that Paisley don't have. So it
mm-mm.
looks like it's more spacier too. Is it more roomier than the Paisley Park gift shop?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's definitely they got better things at the airport. That I was really surprised that they didn't like. For instance, they don't have all the albums at Paisley at the gift shop there. They've got majority of them, but they don't have all of them. And I guess maybe I guess seasonal, or I don't know how they do their inventory, but it did seem I was a little disappointed with what they had at Paisley compared to even other places like the even stuff that they had at the mall. They
Mm,
had a one of those Minnesota Welcome to Minnesota, stores where you get, they had Prince stuff in there that they didn't have at Paisley either. So I was just like, wow, so definitely if you're looking for Prince, memorabilia, or don't just depend on Paisley Park is what I'm saying. Like,
So they
go,
probably,
some other places, even at Electric Phoenix when we went there.
mm,
So yeah, go to multiple places looking for stuff.
yeah, they probably just rely on you to buy the stuff on the at the print store online. Probably what it is. A lot of the
Yeah,
merchandise and even
yeah.
the music, they probably say, we'll just go ahead and just hold some in stock, and just anything else they want, they could just get it from the store where you could pay that shipping. So that's what they're
Right,
doing.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's where they try to get you. You show right about that. They try to, and that shipping on Prince.com, like, girl, I'm like $10, $20 for
Yeah.
no, yeah, $20 for just shipping. And I'm like, and I always say, oh well, I want to go on the Prince.com, the official estate page, because I want to help support the estate. But then when I look at that shipping, I'm like, well, I mean, I love Prince, but damn, I'm like,
They
whoo.
they offer the free shipping for over $75, but the catch to that is if it's something on sale, or they have exclusions. If it's something on sale or something like that, then it doesn't qualify. So that's the other.
Oh,
You know,
so they gonna get they shipping regardless, huh? Like,
that's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They do.
that is a mess. But we gotta do what we gotta do to support the estate. I know a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, but some of the Prince, so-called Prince fans, but like, I don't want to support that. I don't want to buy nothing that he didn't approve
Um,
of, or I didn't want to, if he didn't approve it. Well, he's not here to do any of that. Okay,
that's right.
so if you want to keep the lights on at Paisley Park, either you gonna support it or you're not. Like,
Yeah, you said
so
I heard you talk about that. Yeah, and you're right. I mean, I've already said it. You just went up there and just echoed and pretty much said the same thing. Yeah, they don't want to do nothing. I'm like, okay, well, what do you want?
right.
And if you just sit there and his legacy doesn't go any far, then you be upset, because that's what it's looking like. That's so far. That's pretty much what's been going on this year.
Yeah.
Then what you gonna say? So yeah,
Right.
you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they'll get online and be like, oh, this young person said they didn't know anything about Prince, and well, yeah, yeah, because he's
Mhm.
not out there anymore like he used to be. So
Right.
yeah, it's not surprising that the younger, but there are some Gen Z, and I don't know if you've caught on seen this on YouTube, but I have, because sometimes I'll go on YouTube and I'll just put in Prince reactions just to
Yeah.
see who's reacting to Prince. And a lot of these Gen Z reactors, they get into Prince. Like, they'll listen to one song and then they'll be like, hey, I love that song. Request more Prince. And then next thing you know, they are on their Prince journey, their purple journey. And like this one lady, what was her name? Oh, I can't think of her name right now. But she had started reacting to just like Prince, videos. And next thing I know, she had to finally stop. She's like, look, I'm going to start doing my Prince stuff on Patreon, because I've had so many people complain that I was just doing Prince only. And I've seen that happen to a couple of Gen Z reactors where they were just like, got on a Prince trip and they were just like, let me just react to solely Prince. Just send me Prince stuff. And then eventually they little subscribers be like, okay, we tired of you reacting to Prince.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so funny. So on my page, I am going to react to more than just Prince, but I'm going to start off reacting to just Prince. And I'm going to, try to, stop the video and stuff like that so it won't get blocked. But I'm going to try to do my best to get that started, probably by the spring. I'm looking at maybe March 1st or so before I do my first reaction. So I know you're going to be on the lookout for that, Stephanie. And once again, Stephanie, I would just want to just thank you from the bottom of my heart again for all of your support and your promotion of my channel and my page and my podcast. And just I just love people like you that support the little underdogs like me. So from the bottom of my heart, once again, thank you for everything.
Oh, you're welcome. I've just, like I said, I'm proud of you once again. You've really been putting in the work, and just about all your episodes, you're just on point, and I'm just impressed because me and your birthday is 20 days apart. you're 41 and you just on point. I mean, now you said you became a Prince fan at a young age at 5 and then beyond that. So that is long enough to be a fan, but I mean, you're just on point with a lot of stuff. So I'm like, this girl knows her stuff. So
Thank
I'm just
you.
really impressed with what you've been doing, and just keep doing what you're doing. And I'm glad you didn't change the name. You was talking about changing the name to from Shades of Purple. Shades of Purple is a perfect title for it. Just keep doing what you're doing, and I notice you got more relaxed as you do the podcast, be doing the show. So I'm just really proud of you. Like I said, we're all proud of
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm just trying to, have a little bit more of my personality,
you.
shine through, because in them earlier episodes, I was like, oh, I gotta, write out or type out a script so that way I'm not sounding crazy. But now
Mm,
I done got so comfortable to the point where I was like, okay, well, I must just be myself. And if I sound crazy, I sound crazy, but I'm at least know what I'm talking about a little bit. if
yeah.
I, if I
But everything you say is with positivity, and that's what I like. Yeah, because that was somebody that, well, her videos don't come on no more on YouTube, but she used to use language profanity too, but it just sounded. I mean, she just had this. She started off quiet at first with this calm voice, but before it was over with, she started going into negativity, and she started getting using this profanity, and you don't come off like that. You come off everything about you. You have a positive flow. So and even if you saying something, it's all in fun. So that's what I like.
Oh yeah, because I'm a fun person. I try not to take myself too serious.
Mm.
Even when I mess up sometimes I'm just like, you know what, it is what it is. I'm gonna just keep it moving. But y'all know me, y'all know how I get down. So,
Oh yeah.
it's gonna be what it's gonna be and I'm gonna make it do what it do.
That's
So
right.
I try to have that upbeat attitude about this because this is fun for me. I want to be a part of Prince's legacy and keeping that going. And this
Right.
is, my little small, contribution to his legacy. So,
Yeah.
that's what it is.
Yeah.
Well, we at 51 right now.
Mm.
So, yeah, I think we want to go ahead and end it. Do you have any last words or that you want to say or talk about?
Just wanted to say thanks again for this invitation to your podcast, and just to keep doing what you're doing. Always hold God's hand, keep God with you, and just thank you for everything that you're doing for Princess Legacy. And
Okay.
also thanks for the listeners. Like myself, we're hoping that we just want to continue to support you. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Thank you, Stephanie Mills. Thank you so much for coming on the show. And thank you guys for listening. I hope to have more people on the podcast to talk about Prince. So be on the lookout for that. And so I'm going to go ahead and sign off, you guys. Peace and be wild. And may you live to see the dawn. Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.